Fiend kind of got me off guard. He was kind of he was really pugnacious with some of his comments and really hurt my feelings.
Did I broaden out the best in you?
Aztecs' biggest lead was 8.
I think Tramel's going to have to get going.
Butler got it. He was 0 of 5 from 3. His first bucket. Tramel driving, kicking. Butler again. He hits another 3. This is a career day for Lamont Butler to shoot in the first half as well. Bradley driving. Bradley scoring. Oh, Matt Bradley. And he's fouled. 13 for Bradley. Bradley step back. Yes! Matt Bradley.
Wow.
His wake-up call came a little late. Butler drives and he scores. Ball game. San Diego State is going to survive. A gritty and gutty and valiant effort from an undermanned, banged-up Wyoming team. And the Aztecs are going to improve to 3-0 in the Mountain West.
Welcome back, everybody, all you Aztecs fans, to another Sons of Montezuma Kiss the Rings Aztecs basketball podcast. The Aztecs push the record up to 12-3, guys. Is it 12-3? With a big win over Wyoming in Laramie. What's going on, everybody? It's your host. You can find me on Twitter at Mateo San Diego, and I am joined by the Kiss the Rings crew. You cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him, but I don't dare you to try. And that is the one and only, back in the show, SD Sports Fiend. What's going on, Fiend? Welcome.
What's going on, guys? Yeah, women's and men's now.
Very exciting weekend for all Aztecs basketball. A little up and down, but we'll go through that. And joining us, not only is he a basketball aficionado, but he is a sandwich, I was about to say sandwich artist, but he's a sandwich aficionado. He loves his sandwiches. It's Mike Tortolot. What up, Mike?
What's up, guys?
What was your celebration sandwich after the Aztecs beat Wyoming in Laramie?
Oh, I barbecued after that, but I went and got an Italian sandwich yesterday. That was bomb, so I love the Italian.
Well, we're about to go down all kind of rabbit holes on this episode because the Aztecs pulled out the victory. We're about to go down a rabbit hole of Aztecs basketball, men's and women's. But let's start with thanking everybody for coming out to our second Aztecs basketball watch party hosted by Ale Smith up there at the brewery, guys. It was another great turnout. I was a little, nervous on who was going to show up because I know Fiend, you were going to be down at Viejas checking out the ladies game. I was like, oh no, like who's, it's just going to be me and DJ Loco Levi spinning the tunes and yelling our heads off. But there was a really good turnout. They've been great, letting us take over the whole mezzanine at the top section, looking down. And it was a great time, talk about Mexican food. Man, that taco truck was working, very delicious. Everybody kept saying how great the burritos and the carne asada was. So, hey, $5 state ales, bomb Mexican food. What do we say? Basketball, beer, and burritos. Like, you cannot go wrong with that. So, thank you again to everybody who came out. We'll have to see how many more we do in the future, but definitely probably our top spot.
It's a great spot.
If you are watching us on YouTube, make sure right now you hit that like and subscribe button to follow more Aztecs football, basketball content. Sons of Montezuma, you can find us, the audio versions on Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, anywhere podcasts are available. So yeah, we had a great time there at Ale Smith. But Fiend, we definitely missed you out there, man. Tell us a little bit about your experience going to the ladies' game. That Aztecs women's basketball team, they were fighting for first place. Didn't go our way, right? But tell us your experience.
Yeah, I had a really good time down at the Viejas for that game. It was myself and SD Superfan who wrote the preview article for the women's game. Shout out to him, did a really good job. But it was just him and I in the show, and then the band and the cheerleaders, and all of us just leading chants and cheers and trying to, stir up some energy, for the girls. And and talking a little trash to the UNLV women's team at the same time. Definitely had my whistle going on their free throws, but it didn't affect them at all because they just hit all of them. But yeah, it was definitely a good time. I'm really impressed by this women's team. They're just loaded with talent. You know, Asia Avenger, who is the sister of Lucky and Noah. If you look at the three siblings, probably the one with the most athletic talent is Asia. She is absolutely amazing on the court. I mean, she scored 25 points, dished out 6 assists. She had this behind the back pass go into the basket and hit Sarah Barcelo for a 3-point shot. I mean, perfect pass behind the basket, just slung it out to her. Unfortunately, she missed the 3, but I mean, she was just making these amazing plays and I mean, really, really exciting player to watch. I think she's going to be a pro down the line. It was a good time. The issue was we just could not hit from deep. We were 3 of 24. We're missing Mercedes Staples, who's the best 3-point shooter, shoots 47%. She's been out the last couple of games from injury. But they kept it close, and they kept scrapping and fighting, and I love that fight, from the women's team. And UNLV just got the best of us in this game, and we'll get them back next time. And then we got the Mountain West tournament. Hopefully everyone's healthy, and I think they can make a big run and possibly win that tournament.
Very cool. Yeah, I was checking out some of the highlight videos, and yeah, Asia Avenger, she's got some game, man.
The men's team has 2 players who were ESPN top 100 players. Yeah, Jaden Ledee, who was ranked number 61 in 2018, and Matt Bradley, who was ranked 97th in 2018. The women's team has 5 4-star players who were ranked in the top 100 in ESPN. That's mind-boggling. I mean, when I say they're a loaded team, they are a loaded team. Mercedes Staples ranked 67th. Abby Prohaska ranked 73rd. Yummy Morris ranked 74th. Kylie Pepe ranked 83rd. Asia Avenger was ranked 56th in her class. I mean, this of the top 100 women basketball players, high school basketball players in the country. And we've got 5 of those players on our team. They're crazy good. And I think that they deserve a lot more attention and a lot more respect.
Yeah, I mean, the one girl transferred from Notre Dame. I'm like, holy shit, really, from Notre Dame?
Yeah, they got 1 from Minnesota, 1 from Notre Dame, 1 from TCU.
Yeah.
And then, Kylie Pepe and Asia Avenger both committed to San Diego State out of high school. And then you have a couple more that are really good. They're not 4-stars, but they're solid players. So if they can get healthy, I mean, I think they can make a run to the tournament.
Well, I'm excited about that. I do want to have some more updates moving forward in the year, and let's hear a little bit more. So hopefully all of our listeners who really responded well to the ladies, hey, we'll give them some more coverage. They deserve it. Okay, so now on to the main event, though, guys, because Wyoming, we knew was going to be a difficult game. We knew every time you travel to that altitude, it's tricky. You go into that, what do they call it? The Dome of Doom, which, hey, the Aztecs have not been scared of that place at all. They have rodeos and all kinds of, dirt things going on inside that arena. And we go in there every single time and we handle business. So 80 to 70, what is it? 80 to 75. I mean, that was a tricky game. It was, how many starters did they have out of the game, guys? I mean, that was the first impression to me. And they were still able to just be there neck and neck with us, step for step, shot for shot. What were your first impressions, Fiend, on this 80 to 75 victory of the Aztecs?
You got to give Wyoming credit for the way that they played. This game really reminded me of the 2021 quarterfinal Mountain West tournament game where we were the number one seed. They were the 8th seed. And I, thought we're going to handle this team no problem. And same thing this year. I thought we'll go in there. It'd be no problem. Right. They gave us all kinds of fits in 2021. I think it was Matt Mitchell that had to make some plays toward the end and hit some crucial foul shots, kind of in the same mode as what Matt Bradley did this year, to win it. And ironically, it was the same guy that was killing us. It was Xavier Dussel. I mean, he scored in 2021. He hit 21 points. I think the guy was averaging like 4 points a game, or maybe 9 points a game. Yesterday, he scores 15. He's averaging 4. I mean, so there's just something about playing us that brings out the best in him. And then the other guy, Brandon Wetzel, who Xavier Dussel replaced, went out with a leg injury. But before he went out, he was, 4 of 4 from 3, right? So, I mean, they were just shooting lights out, and, we were too. I mean, so it was just a neck and neck game. It's just something that I clearly didn't expect going into it.
Both teams shot over 55% in that first half. I mean, everything just seemed like it was going in. There was a lot of plays, exciting plays. What were your impressions, Mike? What were you thinking in that first half?
Oh, shit. Like, I was watching it, and every time you go up to Wyoming, the altitude, I know I'm at 4,500 feet and it's not 7,200, but it is definitely a factor. I don't care if you're there only a couple hours. I mean, these guys are, playing against guys who play all the time, and I'm watching it, and I just sitting there, and this is a trap game for us, because you go in there, they have Ike is out, Hunter Thompson, I think, not the writer.
Not S. Hunter S. Thompson.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he had mononucleosis apparently for the 3rd time in his career. So he's I don't know what kind of cheeks he's be beating, bro, but he's got mono cheeks, the 3rd time. It's like, whoa, bro, what are you doing? So I think, I watched it, and I'm like, this is crazy. But Dussel played well. Wenzel played well. They all played well. I mean, they kind of knew, hey, we have to play well to pick up this team, and we lucked out. I mean, that weird 1-of-1 that they didn't call, they missed. And then when Wenzel got hurt, I think, honestly, man, if Wenzel didn't get hurt, I don't think we would have beat him. They shot 57.8% from the field. When's the last time? We'll have to look at this for the next ball. When's the last time anybody shot anywhere near that against us? 57.8%. That's insane. I just, 45% from 3, but we shot well too, 50%, but like, I was really nervous about this game. And the way the flow of the game, I'm like, oh man, this is not good. And then they just found a way to win again. And I just kind of came to the realization of like, okay, they're going to win a different game, a different way each game. And when we beat UNR, it might be different. When we beat New Mexico, it's going to be different. They just shot the ball well. I don't know what else you can say. I mean, they really shot the ball well. The Lamont Butler game. This is my Lamont Butler game. And I'm so happy for that guy. He's okay, cool. If you're going to tag off me, bam, 3 in a row. And then he missed 3 or 4 in a row. And then he made 2 or 3 in a row. And so, his career high. And I feel like this isn't the first time someone in our team has had a career high at Wyoming.
I could hear everybody at the watch party every time Wyoming would make a shot. It was like, man, this is the perfect trap game. Everybody's freaking out just because whether it was Maldonado or whoever, just hitting shot after shot, is like, when is it going to start clanking off those loose rims? There were some very loose rims. There were some loose rims, but they were swishing them. And Maldonado is so crafty. You got to give him a ton of credit. I mean, when the ball's in his hand, he knows how to create, he knows how to hit the shot, and he knows how to facilitate. I mean, the dude he's a pretty well-rounded offensive player. And, in my opinion, their size at that guard spot was tricky again, right? We keep seeing it, on the defensive end, that kind of gave us a lot of problems. Lamont Butler, man, you hit it. 5 3-pointers in this game. He says he's been putting in the work. He says he's been putting in a lot of work, and I know he has, since Maui, and it's just great to see the maturity and the growth. And that's really, in college sports, that's the great thing. You love to watch these young guys age and go through the program and come out better for it. So really cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hunter Maldonado was a mismatch for us, and he seemed like he could get to the rim at will. He was also just making some ridiculous shots, fadeaway shots. I mean, we had, they were perfect shots. You couldn't defend them. You got to give credit to him. I mean, it was a good game plan, by Wyoming. I mean, allowing Butler to shoot those threes. They were clearly allowing him to do that, and he made them pay. If he hadn't made them pay, then it would have worked out to their advantage. but he did exactly what he needed to do. On our end, on defensive end, we are just allowing two guys too open, looks. And I think a lot of it is we're getting too risky trying to steal the ball from the, from the post. And then they kick it out to a shooter, and then they, swing the ball. And as we're trying to adjust and trying to close out on these guys, they find the open guy and just hits it, bang. I mean, so I personally, I would like to see a little more just straight up man to man. Let's not try to be stealing the ball from the post. Just guard your guys straight up, because I don't think Mensa or KJ or, any of our bigs have any problems with guarding 1v1 on anyone in the Mountain West outside of maybe Graham Ike, who's out. So I just don't understand why they take those risks on defense, because we seem to get burned by them when they're able to kick it out to an open shooter because of their length, because of guys like Odin and Maldonado. They were able to, kind of get us on their hip and then, kind of lay it in for a layup or kind of a hook jump shot to, bank it off the backboard. So, we really struggled to defend that, but there's just no excuse for allowing all of these open looks. When we're taking risks, we don't need to take on the defensive end.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a good precursor to UNR because their guards are big too. I don't mean to jump ahead, but their guards are big too. So this is going to be a good practice for us. Bradley didn't score, I think, the first 7 minutes of the game, and then Matt Bradley did Matt Bradley things at the end, and he's our Superman. I mean, he is the guy, and he's a man amongst boys in there sometimes when he wants to take advantage of a game and take control, and he did, and I'm glad he did. Butler kind of, took advantage of the first half, and Ballard took advantage of the second half, and then Arope, I love Arope. I think he got some nonsense fouls where he kind of goes under and he kind of trying to pop it out, and they called him 2 or 3 times, and that's his play. And Ladie played well. I think Ladie is 7th in minutes played and 2nd in free throws. So he's a big part there. So he's still getting under there, but 8 points and 9 rebounds. That's big. Especially with Mensa only having 7 and 3. But I think his ankle hurt him a little bit more than he let on when he got hurt there. But
I was so mad because I had to tape the game because I was at the women's game. So I purposely didn't check any social media. I didn't want to know the score of the game. I get back home. I'm watching the recording, right? I thought I had enough time on the end of the recording.
Oh,
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's the worst.
So where we got the steal, I think it was just under 4 minutes to go. We're down 1. Before all this magic happens from Matt Bradley, my recording ends.
no.
Yeah. I didn't get to see any of those. I didn't get to see the and one. I didn't get to see the 3-pointer. I had to check it all out on social media after. So anyways, when I record games, I'm going to have to add at least an hour on because CBS puts on too many commercials.
Well, I'm glad you guys bring up all the other guys in this game, all the other performances. Our top 2 scorers weren't having it in this game. Trammell was struggling. Bradley was struggling for the most part. And Fiend, unfortunately, you didn't get to see the magic. But basically, I mean, everybody who played a minute in this game put up some crooked numbers on their scoring, their final scoring points. So Jaden Ladie, his contribution, 8 points, 4 free throws, 9 rebounds. And then Adam Seiko, man, we don't give him enough credit. Comes in just a sharp shooter, 2 of 3 from 3-pointers. I just want him to get more minutes, more touches. Bradley, what can you say, man? He's putting together a really solid case for early MVP. I think he's definitely in the lead playing as he is. Those last few minutes, I mean, he just put the game on his back, said, everybody get out the way. The score went from 70-69 to 75-70 in the matter of just a couple minutes, a couple seconds. And, that was all we needed to close this thing out. So 18 points for Matt Bradley, 23 points for Lamont Butler, a career high for him. So, hey.
That was the most points we allowed off in the first half all season.
In the first half.
Yeah. And then Seiko, I don't know if this includes the 2 he made this year, but 20 of his 26 makes this year are 3-pointers. So give or take 21 or 22 of 28 or whatever, you know what I mean? 29.
They just don't run enough action for him.
Yeah.
So that's the bottom line. They're not running enough. I mean, we'll get into it with Nevada and kind of what they do for Jared Lucas, but if they did that same thing, what they do for Jared Lucas for Adam Seiko, he would get more shots.
Hey, that's on the record, man. We need to keep that because that's important. You know, Seiko, he's a 6th-year senior, 5th-year senior?
He's huge.
Get him
So
the
if
ball.
you look on KenPom, they rate the players on each team based on, you know, their sort of contribution to the team. And Adam Seiko has one of the highest offensive ratings on the Aztecs, but he's under the category of nearly invisible.
Wow.
How can you have a player who has a high offensive rating and not find a way to, you know, get him shots so that, you know, he's not nearly invisible in his role on your team?
Like, I can understand, and, you know, this is no disrespect to Jaden Ledee, but I think we're seeing him ease his way back into playing after having a year off. It's understandable. But for Seiko, I mean, he hasn't had those issues as far as trying to find his game and trying to discover his role. Like, we know who Adam Seiko is. He's been that constant, you know, deadly outside shooter. So there shouldn't be any kind of hesitation to get this dude those touches.
I agreed, but that's on the coaching staff to call plays for him.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They're playing Jaden Ledee out of position. They're playing him as a back to the basket 5. He's not. He's a perimeter. He's a stretch 4. He should be playing out on the perimeter, you know, but the coaching staff has him in the same role that he was in at TCU, at Ohio State, and he transferred from both of those places. This goes back to what I said in a previous podcast. Square peg, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, right? Trying to take whatever philosophy you have and then mold your players into that philosophy instead of taking their strengths and then developing a plan around those strengths. And that's what the Aztecs need to do, and they haven't done yet. Here's the thing with Jordan Shackle and Adam Seiko. They're both not players who can create their own shot. They need other people to facilitate for them. Right? They need to come off of screens to be able to get an open look. They're also very shot disciplined. That means if the look is not there, they're not forcing it. That's why Adam Seiko and Jordan Shackle are probably 2 of the highest offensive efficiency rated players that the Aztecs have had probably in the last 10 years. They don't take bad shots.
Yeah.
You need to put them in a position where they have the opportunity to take a good shot, or they're not going to take it. So, you know, you get Adam Seiko the ball one-on-one versus a defender. He's going to have a hard time creating his own shot to, you know, and he's just not going to take it. He's going to pass it off to someone else, pass it off to Bradley. Right. But if you run a bunch of off-ball screens for him, then he's going to come off those screens and he's going to have an open look and he'll fire it. You need to do more of that to get Adam Seiko going, because he is your best 3-point shooter. And if you do that, like you see some of these other teams in the in Division I who are ranked higher than the Aztecs, but aren't, I wouldn't say, any better or you know, talented than the Aztecs. They just run better offense.
Oh, man, it hurts to hear that, but it's the truth. The truth hurts, and we are not dodging any truths here in this episode.
I get frustrated watching and it's like beating a dead horse, you know, and the listeners, I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, the Fiend's going to come on and talk about how he hates ISO ball and how they don't run any offense, but you know, and so I'm just having to kind of just accept it as a fan. Cause look, when you can't control something, right, you just have to accept, or you just go crazy, right? I don't want to go crazy. So I got to lower my expectations, and I just have to accept whatever, you know, Dutcher and Chris Acker, who runs the offense, you know, he calls the offensive plays and designs them. I just have to accept whatever they're going to do.
Real quick, the side note on it drove me fucking insane because they kept calling him Jordan Ledee during the basketball game. The announcer.
How do you mess that up?
I don't
Like,
know, that the guy, and then Clark Kellogg said his name right, but it was the other guy who was saying Jordan. But congratulations to Jaden Ledee on a 4.0 this semester.
yeah, that's awesome.
That's incredible.
That is awesome.
That's awesome. You know, basketball and then you have the 4.0. I think that's pretty impressive. And that's big ups to him and congratulations. And that's a pretty cool accomplishment.
Well, hopefully his play on the court, he's going to earn them getting his name right and put it out there and make sure you don't make any more mistake. It's Jaden Ledee, capital L, capital D. Okay, guys, so as we sit here, we are awaiting Nevada and New Mexico both this week to battle for first place. But as we look at the standings right now in the Mountain West Conference, we are looking at Nevada on top. They are 4-0 in conference play, and we are 3-0. So we're right actually behind them. So who would have thought this game coming up on Tuesday would have been for first place? I don't think many people expected that one. Utah State and Boise State are right behind us, 2-1 both. Did you guys see Boise State just take them to the shed? That game was chippy. And what is that, Taco Bell Arena up there in Boise? Is hilarious. Utah State, man, I mean, they're one of the most offensively, I guess, efficient teams in the conference, but Boise, man, they just muscle them up.
I didn't get a chance to watch it. I did watch some of the New Mexico and UNLV game. I think New Mexico is fraudy.
Fraudy.
I think they have good players, they have good team, but I don't think I don't know if they're just going through a slump, or obviously everybody's getting pumped up for them to play. They're not going to be ranked tomorrow. We will. When it comes out, we'll be ranked. They won't. I don't think Nevada's going to be ranked. I mean, Nevada matched them the same amount of wins this year as they had all last year. So that is definitely a turnaround for Alford.
Alford?
You know what? Alford teams always play us well. I mean, even in New Mexico, he's always played us well. And they comes up to UNR and they play us well. I know last podcast they have not beat us, and I don't care. I'm not a
don't feed into the
they've never beat
superstitious.
us. They never beat us in San Diego since they joined the conference in 2012. They did beat us in 1998. That was the one time. That was the last time they beat us at home, but they have not beat us at home since they've joined the conference. We talked about the stats. I think they're like 3-20 or something like that against us.
Wow.
But they're a good team. I mean, they're very similar height-wise to Wyoming. Lucas is solid. Blackshear is nice. I mean, I've always kind of liked him. He never got the time he needed with all the other guys. Himes is out this year, which is, unfortunately he's a big body, but it'll be interesting to see how we play against him.
Okay, let me ask you guys this, because Alford, we all love Steve Alford. And now that he's not at New Mexico anymore and he's at Nevada, who do we love to hate more, Alford in Nevada or still that New Mexico program?
Can we do both? Yes. Beat Reno so I can talk more shit up here to anybody I see when I wear my Aztec gear.
Because we get them both this week. It's lovely. We get both of the wolves and the lobos. We get all the species that we get to hunt.
We talked about that. What's the difference between a wolf, the wolf pack, and a lobo? Is the lobos on meth? Is that what the difference is? Right? I don't hate the teams. I hate the fans, man. The fans are just kind of, Nevada is pretty cool. Whenever I'm up here, I remember I went to a game a couple years ago before I moved up here, and they beat us. It's that team with the Martin brothers. They scorched us on senior night, and I left early and I went to this place across the street, this bar, and I was wearing my state gear, and I was like, "You guys beat us, man. You guys played us well." And then we smoked them in the tournament, and these guys were giving me shit, and I go, "Are you from here?" They were from fucking Del Cerro wearing Nevada gear. I go, "You guys are sellouts, dude. Like, you move up here and you root for Nevada and against San Diego, and I'm like, "You from?" Like, "Yeah, we were born and raised in San Diego."
Did they go to UNR? Did they go to UNR?
No, they're old. They're our age, dude. They were kids. They're like 35, 40-year-old people. And I'm like, "Dude, you're from San Diego and you root for Nevada up here? Like, what's more?" And so and so we kind of, hung out after that as the commonality of San Diego. And I'm like, whatever.
Del Cerro does not claim them.
Yeah,
we do not claim them.
Yeah, I was like, whatever. I'm like, "You guys beat us. They just smoked us that year." And I remember how come somebody sitting next to me in that game was like, how come how come there's no highlights against San Diego State in the, the senior package when they show the highlights of seniors? I'm like, you guys never fucking beat us, man. You never beat us, dude. The only way you beat us is up here like 3 times. That's it. So it's fine. It's fine. But I mean, being up here and seeing them, I want the teams to do well. I mean, I don't want them to do well against us. I want us to beat them. But having the other teams in the conference do well it only helps everybody else.
I honestly, I don't have a problem with either one of those fan bases or those programs. I don't hate either one of them. At the Mountain West Conference tournament, like the Reno fans and the New Mexico fans have always been cool to me. Utah State fans, that's a different story.
Oh my!
Now, I hate Utah State fans, man, and I hate that program. But I mean, we'll go there. But Reno and New Mexico, I mean, I don't really have too many problems with either one of them. I just I want to see competitive, good games. I mean, obviously want to see an Aztec win. But I think if they're good, then it helps the conference and it helps our metrics and our seating for the tournament. If we can get wins against them.
Well, yeah. Alfred drives me nuts. He's a little bit he's a little much to watch. He's a little annoying when you go against Alfred. That's the difference.
The one guy on that staff that does drive me nuts is Noodles.
Noodles.
Now I freaking hate that guy. I cannot stand that. And he had that son that played for him. No, remember he had that son, Craig Neal, that played for New Mexico.
Yeah. I saw him at Walmart. I saw him at Walmart on like New Year's Eve. He was walking by with his wife and his daughter and stuff. And so it was funny to see. I've seen Alfred up here a few times. It's interesting because it's a smaller town than San Diego. You see these guys a little bit more. Sure. I was walking my dog and this guy's like, oh yeah, he put on the Adidas basketball camps and stuff like that. And his son coaches for UNR too. So I talk to him sometimes, but I feel like I've run into more of them than I would have, in San Diego because of the size and scope of it. But I'd love to hear it once we get into the Utah State preview in a couple weeks. I want to hear what's going on with Utah State and SD Sports Fiend. Is it because they're Mormon and they have multiple wives?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's not that. I mean, it's just
what happened. Was it at the tourney?
We don't have to talk about it. A couple times at the tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had run-ins on a couple of different occasions. Yeah. One almost ended in a fight. But let's talk more about that when we get to the Utah State game. Yeah, I don't like those guys at all, and I make no qualms. I don't hide it. I hate them. I don't like them.
We are eager in anticipation for that episode. So, Fiend, let's dial it back down to Nevada because that's what we have to play now. We got to play them on Tuesday night. What can you give us about Nevada? How are they going to give us fits because they're playing well?
Yeah, so I have the preview article that's coming out. If you guys could check it out, appreciate it. We got 3 keys to victory. I'm not going to reveal them on the show tonight, but I think that with this Nevada team, the problem that we are going to have is their length in their guards. They have all their guards. They run 4 guards and a big man. The guards are between 6'4" and 6'7", right? And think about that.
Yeah.
Think about the size of our guards. We've got like a 5'10", 6'2", 6'3", right? And then with those 4 guards, they pair a 7-foot center who is more of like a stretch 4. He goes out on the perimeter. He can shoot threes. He's kind of like a Yanni Wetzel type. And so with that length, they're able to create like driving lanes, and they do a really good job of creating off-ball screens for Jared Lucas, who's hitting, I think like 38% from 3. He hit one from the Nevada logo against Colorado State. Did you see that when he hit it from the border?
Yeah. You sent the tweet, and I was like, wow.
It was like,
that's wild.
It must have been like, 30 feet, 35 feet? So that guy's got unlimited range. You cannot, you have to close out on him. You have to make him take contested shots. If you don't make him take contested shots and you just give him catch and shoot opportunities and he's, just let him pull up from wherever he's comfortable, then he's going to burn you. But the other guys, like Keenan Blackshear, he's just like Hunter Maldonado, 6'6", point guard, who can handle the ball, doesn't turn it over a whole lot, but he can shoot it. He's very athletic, and as we saw against Wyoming, we really struggled with a guy that size who could handle the ball. All three of the teams that we've lost to, St. Mary's, Arkansas, Arizona, are all like top 20 to top 50 in terms of height in Division I programs. And I think, Wyoming was 38. And so they gave us problems with their height. Nevada is ranked pretty high too. I don't know the exact, I think it's like top 20 or so. So what I think we need to do is we need to not play Lamont and Darien at the same time. I think we need to stagger them. So one's on the court, one's on the bench, and then just, switch them back and forth. I'd like to see a little more lineups with Micah Parrish, Adam Seiko, some of our taller guards in the lineup who can, maybe give us a little more, can contend with that height.
I know Mike shared it a couple episodes back as far as getting the ball inside to get the ball outside, to open up your outside.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think there's some opportunity there. They only really have one true big.
Yeah.
And that's Will Baker. He's 7 feet. I think they play a guy who's 6'8" at the 5 spot when he's not on the floor. So yeah, I'd love to see them get it into Mensa, get it into a Rope, Ladie, even KJ, and just really attack the glass. And that's one thing that Nevada does not do well, is they do not rebound the ball well, especially on the offensive boards. And so I would prefer to go inside first instead of trying to shoot from the outside.
Yeah, because every team has an advantage. If you're looking for what your advantage is, and ours just happens to be down on the block, right? So if that's your advantage, hey, you got to go after it. Okay, so are we ready for our shot clock questions, guys? How are we feeling? Have you guys been working out, doing all your drills to get ready for this moment, this one shining moment?
Sing it, Fiend. One shining moment, you reach for the cheeks.
Well, we have come to that one shining moment, but you guys get 3 opportunities. So each shot clock question, you both get a chance, and hey, I'll award you a point depending on who wins, who nails that shot, who shoots their shot. Are we ready? I believe Mike Tortolot won the last game, so I believe he will retain possession, winners outs. Do you believe, Mike Tortolot, the Aztecs will run the table in the Mountain West, and why? Shoot it!
No, I don't think so. I think they're going to get tripped up one place. I think there's going to be one game we just get tripped up, and it's just to win every single game is really tough. Fair to say there might be 2 games. I think there's a game here or there, maybe at the end of the season, that somebody gets healthy, like UNLV, and then they lose and we lose to them, or I don't know what Boise State looks like yet. I haven't seen much. And Utah State plays as well. I just don't think we are. I don't think we're gonna win all of our games, but I still think we're gonna win the conference.
Not very convincing, but I like your use of statistics and data on your side, but not very convincing argument. Fiend, what do you think the Aztecs will run the table in the Mountain West, and why?
I do not think they will run the table in the Mountain West. I mean, if the 2019-2020 team couldn't run the table and they were top 5 in the country, is an currently unranked San Diego State team, possibly will be ranked tomorrow, but will they be able to run the Mountain West in a very good league this year, which is up metrically? I think the odds are probably against them. Ken Palm agrees with that. They think that we are going to lose at Utah State, which is a very difficult road environment to play in. I think that it's just very hard to do. It's never been done in this league. You're playing at altitude. You play 17, 18 games, and it's just a tough, long season. I do not think that it is going to happen.
Very, very convincing arguments there, using data, references to the previous teams. Oh, man. I got to give it to Fiend on that one, man. Both had the same position, but very, very convincing argument.
We are 12-1 in our last regular season games, conference games.
With that one. Did not run the table.
All right, Fiend, you got the ball. The next question. What would you do different defensively to this Aztecs team moving forward?
Well, what I would do differently with this Aztec team moving forward is just stay with your guy. And, we talked about this earlier in the podcast. We've got guys taking way too many risks that they don't need to do. Just stick with your guy, fight over the screens, don't duck under the screens if you can, and just lock them down and then switch when necessary. And our defense is fine. It's when we start trying to get those steals that we don't need to take those risks. That's where we get into trouble.
All right. Okay. Pretty sound advice there. Mike, you got the ball in your corner. What would you do different defensively to ensure this Aztecs team continues to put the clamps down?
I think these guys are trying their hardest, and they're just, they're playing guys who are playing well too, and they want to beat us. They always want to beat us. So we're going to get everybody's extra little shot. And so the 2 KenPom ranking last year in defense was unbelievable, but our offense was fucking shit last year. 40 points against Boise State. So the fact that our offense is better, I think there's a little more, you don't get on the court. I know this is past 30 seconds again, which I typically tend to do, and I apologize, but you don't get in the court without your defense. But I've always said you win games by scoring points.
So the best defense is an offense.
Yeah, I mean, score points, your defense, and I think everything's gonna play itself out.
That was like 5 shot clock violations.
Yeah, offensive rebounds. I had like 4 offensive rebounds. In all fairness, so I'm really good at offensive rebounds. I kept taking a shot. It wasn't a good shot, really bad shot. I got the board. I regrouped. Took a worse shot.
That's why
awesome.
Wyoming played us tough. Wyoming played us tough because we took their girlfriends and threw cow patties at them.
Pour a little Dixie in that sugar cup. In the fields we go with that booty slut.
Okay, the last shot clock question. Fiend, you have control of the ball right now. Can you make it a trifecta? Can you hit the 3 Nevada trash talk for the game on Tuesday? Give us your best. Talking to Coach Steve Alford right now. How you going to psych him and get him out of his game so he doesn't coach his team to a victory in Viejas? Shoot it!
I mean, Reno sucks. Let's just face it. Sorry, Mike Tortolot, but Reno is crap, and that includes UNR. So, come on down, get your ass whipping again, and then you go home with your L. We'll keep the bus rolling for you because it won't take long, right? 4 minutes left, and the show's still going strong. And you and Noodles will be going home with that L back to Reno. God, what a shithole that is.
Oh my goodness. Harsh. Very
so
harsh.
you don't like Reno? Is that what I'm hearing?
I've only been to Reno like once, and I was 14, I think.
I really want to go.
40 years ago.
Oh my God.
All right, Mike, it's your turn. Shoot it.
Well, the best part is I kind of do when I see people up here. I always talk shit to them. It's like submissive kind of like, hey, is your diploma recognized when you guys go out to get a job? Is that how, can you get in? Somebody said, what are you talking about? I'm like, all right, well, you're not smart enough to understand that. That's fine. So the UNR, it's a beautiful campus, but they don't beat us. They never beat us. So I don't really even need to talk shit to them because the proof is in the pudding, is in the eating of it. Hey, you guys are what, 6-21 against us in 27 games or something like that when you play us, like a 14% win percentage. So, I have buddies up here who are UNR grads, and they know not to talk shit to me because the immediacy of, oh, when the fuck is the last time you beat us comes out. And it's like, it's a beautiful town, Fiend. We'd love to have you up. You're welcome to stay with me anytime you want. It's just 20 minutes up to Mount Rose. Jeremy Renner's getting hurt on the plows. Unfortunately, Captain America didn't save him. And then South Lake's an hour. So you can come up and play with us and stuff like that. But yeah, the UNLV, or UNR, hey man, we love to play you guys. We enjoy playing you guys, and we sending you home with a loss and your community college diploma.
Ouch. Why you had to bring up Jeremy Renner, man? That's brutal.
I felt bad. I mean, he was
brutal.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's 20 minutes up to. We have to go by his house all the time to get to. I don't know where it is. It's like private and stuff. But hopefully he's doing well, man. That's unfortunate.
Condolences.
What happened? Yeah,
Speedy recovery.
He's a fellow Renoite, man. You know. I mean,
yeah.
You know, he's a good dude for the community. So props to him. You should probably maybe take that out, but whatever.
Now you're making me feel bad about talking smack about Reno.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? It's not a shithole.
That was your intention.
It's not like
feel bad.
It's not like National
reverse
City.
psychology.
It's not
Mike
like National
Turtelot takes
City.
that round.
You know, it's not like Chicago, right? Where everybody's getting shot all the fucking time. You know,
Mike Turtelot comes back and gets the final round with a reverse
Chicago
psychology.
Yeah. Chicago, go for the food. Steak is getting shot.
A strong finish by Mike, but still got to give the dub to SD Sports Fiend. He redeems himself after last episode's loss. All right, guys. How are you feeling?
I don't know. I'm nervous about this game. You know, I wasn't necessarily nervous about Wyoming, but they lost those two guys, Cambridge, Washington, Sherfield. I think they're a better team without them. I mean, you know, addition by subtraction.
It's a bad matchup for us because of the length. You know, this team was Nevada was picked 9th to finish 9th in the preseason polls, and look at them now. They're, you know, right neck and neck with us. So they've definitely exceeded their expectations. But we'll see what Dutcher draws up. I mean, we have to figure out at some point how we're going to deal with these teams with length, because we're going to see them once we get to the tournament. So it's better to figure it out now than to figure it out in March.
All right, so make sure you are subscribed on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can find a podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe and give us a review. Let us know how we're doing on all of our episodes. On behalf of the guys, SD Sports Fiend and Mike Turtelot, Mateo San Diego signing off. sonsofmontezuma.com. We'll see you guys at Viejas. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs. Beat Reno.
Preparation process, locking up opponent. Fans all tasting. Sweet 16, no Fab 5. Here we got the Fab 15. Everybody contribute.